Hi guys! So in today's video I'm going to be talking about my experience as a disabled person, specifically with a physical disability and hidden disability. Now I've been working in retail for nearly a month now, so I want to talk about my experience as a disabled person in retail, specifically food retail, because I have worked in clothing retail like charity shop, Superdrug, that type of retail, and it's totally different compared to food retail. Let me tell you. Let's get into this video. So I want to answer one question first, because I did put on my Instagram, does anyone want to ask me questions, because I'm filming this video about a disabled person working in retail. And I did get two questions, one being this main topic, so I'm just going to clarify that all across the video. And that one was, what is it like working in retail as a disabled person? So that is what this video is about. But the other one was, what is it like making friends in retail? Now I would say I'm quite a chatty, confident person to chat to, and I will, if I feel comfortable, and it doesn't take me long to feel comfortable, but if I start to feel comfortable with the people I'm working with, I just start chatting. And this is like every day-to-day life for me. I always will say, I would start a conversation, well, not with anyone, but people I'm working with and that, and if we get along, that will lead us to friends. If we don't, we might just be work colleagues. So in social media, in any day life, I've always said, we can start a conversation, start chatting, getting to know each other, and if it leads to a friendship, it leads to a friendship. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That is just the way I work, because I want to clarify that as well, because I know I've got a lot of people who ask me, especially on TikTok, can we be friends, can we be friends? So that's the kind of way I make friends. It's just get to know each other. I feel like most people do, but I also do get that question of, can we be friends? And I don't be friends with someone straight away. I just chat to you and see where it goes. So for me, it's quite easy to make friends in retail. So this is my experience working in food retail. I want to clarify first that it is completely different to working in clothing retail or home decoration retail, like a charity shop, Superdrug. They're the types of jobs I worked in before. Now I'm in food retail. Now I want to say first of all is I've always been like, no, I can't work in food retail, mainly because of my cerebral palsy. Surprisingly, except from standing up for hours, more than my body is used to, I've not been affected with my disability, my cerebral palsy, as much as my learning disability. Now the first 2 weeks of getting this job, I kind of put pressure on myself, I want to say that, because with food retail, there is more serious things in the role than a clothing retail, like selling cigarettes, lottery tickets, alcohol, stuff like that. And obviously making sure the food is in date. That's an important thing, more important than checking if the makeup is in date, I would say, because people can actually get food poisoning. So I would say there is more serious matters in food retail. Looking back of the month or so, when you understand it, and I am still learning by this day, when you understand it, you get into the flow of things. I think it was just them first couple of weeks, the first 2 weeks, that I started to realise, even though I knew I had a learning disability before, I started to realise, no, my learning disability can actually affect me. And it wasn't that bad to the point that I was like, I don't want to learn this, but because I'm so driven, I do want to learn, and I do want to show that I want to learn, and I feel like I come off that way to colleagues or staff. and the managers. I hope I come off that way. I came off that way in my interview, so that's a good thing. That's why I've got this job. But for the first 2 weeks, it was a learning process like every other job. I think when I'm surrounded by able-bodied people, and then I'm probably the only one with the most disabilities, or the only one with the disability, because that is why they're called hidden and physical disability. I've got both of them. So someone at my work could have a hidden disability. I might not know. But I just feel like I've been more affected with learning it. I've taken longer to learn, I feel like, than the other staff. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I want to clarify that I didn't want to work in this type of retail. I've always said, no, I can't do that. No, I can't do that. And now I'm here. I'm like, past Robin would be like, we always said we could not work in food retail. Where we are right now, everything happens for a reason, guys. So if you don't think you can work in food retail, give it a try, honestly. Because I could make up so many reasons why I could not work in food retail. And here I am today, working in food retail. And yes, it's been challenging. Less on my cerebral palsy, to be honest, but we're gonna get into that later on. It's been more challenging on my learning disability, taking in the information and understanding it, because it's a serious thing. Like, the information we're taking in, you need to know what you're doing. It's a serious matter. So with my disability, with my learning disability, it's been a bit harder for me to take in the information. And I'll be honest, I think I'm probably the one who's been calling the staff or the managers the most, because I just want to make sure. And I still do that by this day, just less each week. And that's good. That means I'm learning. That means it's staying in my little brain. And even if you do food retail or any job with a disability, specifically a learning disability, if you have them weeks that you're like, I'll be honest, have a meltdown, them first couple of weeks, if you're not understanding, or you feel like you've done something wrong, or you just feel like you're coming off as a dumb person, you are not dumb. You learn it at a different or pace, yeah. And I'm saying that for myself and for you guys, because after a month of working in retail, I have learned, I've known this before, but I generally need to be patient with myself. Whether the customers are getting annoyed, whether you need to double check the money, whether you need to put an item through twice, anything that you struggle with or you take longer to do it at your own pace. Because that's what I needed to learn at the first 2 weeks of starting this job. And even though I knew that, it's not up until you tell people, oh, I've got a learning disability, and they go, oh, it's okay, just take your time. Like, I'd rather you call someone for another staff member to help you shorten down the queue than you rush and mess up. It's not up until someone says that to you that you're like, yeah, I need to put less pressure on myself. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a hard-working and determined person, and I've got that personality that is like, when I put my mind to something, I need to do it that way. Like, I need to do it. I can do it on my own. I don't need any help. I'm that type of person. That's my personality. Now, I don't know if that's because I've got my disability or just me in general, but I think it is partly because, like, my disability is part of me. So having that type of personality trait, I needed to like lay back a bit and be like, okay, we just need to calm down, understand my learning disability, because like I said to some of the staff members, my learning disability has not affected me as much as it has in this job. Now, that is not a bad thing. With every challenge, every life lesson, you have in your lifetime. There's always going to be a reason why you're going through that, a reason why this is happening to you. I always believe everything happens for a reason, and like my parents have said, and my whole family pretty much, even though we don't want to make mistakes as disabled people, because it might just be me, but it looks like we're not trying to, it looks like we're slacking off and we're not trying to work out harder. But especially when you've got a learning disability, our brains are working harder than yours as an able-bodied person. Now, I'm not putting able-bodied people down, but the first 2 weeks, I need to proper concentrate to the point that I would come home and I would not have a headache, but my head would hurt, like my brain would hurt from all the information I've kept in on that day. And luckily, the past 2 weeks, I've not had that feeling, but the first 2 weeks, at least twice, I would come home and I'd be like, my brain is hurting. I need to lie down, my brain is hurting. And that's just, I've not had that opportunity to have that much information into my learning disability brain in a way. So with that, it takes me longer to take in that information on top of taking in a lot of information. And I just want to make this video because I want to spread awareness more to my learning disability now than my cerebral palsy. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to be talking about my cerebral palsy. This is going to be a long video, but I just want to clarify is if you think you can't do a job, you're not going to actually hurt yourself from it. Go for it. Try and go for that job. Just put an interview in, like a CV. And if they don't accept you, they don't accept you. Because when I first got this opportunity, I was kind of like, can I? Because it's food retail. But I took the risk and I posted a TikTok about it, like this TikTok here. Can't put the music on, but it was like something about like your past self a year ago today would be proud of you. And it's just reminding yourself that, like, whether you're in a job setting or not, or whether you've done a milestone, whether it's small or big, your past self, the summer version of me now will be so proud of me. Because to be honest, in the summer I was like, if I'm not going to be able to get a job at the end of autumn, let's say, I'm just going to do this. I've been trying to find a job for years, and this is what I mean by everything happens for a reason. I kind of put that in my brain, but kind of in the universe, and the universe pretty much slapped it right back in my face and went, nope, here's a job for you, surprise interview, and now you've got the job. So if there is a job that you are thinking, I don't know if I can do that, jump into the deep end and see where it goes. But ending this part of the video, this isn't over, but this is the learning disability part of the video. And just to end it on a positive is, even if you do struggle in your new job, and even if you do have meltdown, breakdown, because that's what comes with a learning disability. When you sometimes don't understand what people are telling you, or you're finding it more difficult than other members of staff, it can get a bit overwhelming. Like when I say my brain was hurting, that was my brain telling me, this is too much information, I'm overwhelmed. So don't get me wrong, I had my meltdown, I had my breakdown, but I am on the other side, and I probably will, while time goes on, have their moments that I'm like, this is difficult. But when you get out of that door and be like, I made it, you look back at your past self, you'll be like, she'll be proud of you. You made it. You can do the thing that you had a meltdown before a couple of weeks ago. Like, you can do that now. You've showed someone, a new staff member, that how to do something when a couple of weeks ago you struggled to do that yourself. So this is just a reminder to don't put too much pressure on yourself and keep on learning about your disability, because it's like self-love and confidence. Every single week, every single year, even though we all know our own disabilities, I feel like you're always learning about new things that you need to do different, or things that make you unique. Like I say on my TikTok, be unique, and that is kind of my catchphrase. But for now, let's get on to the cerebral palsy side of this. Now, luckily the cerebral palsy side is not going to take 50 minutes long, but I hope you enjoyed that part of the learning disability. I just wanted to talk about it more in depth because with my learning disability, like I said, that was the first time I realised I taken a step back and I was like, no, I've actually I need to realise I need to take time for myself to understand what the information is coming in, because it's a lot of information. But onto the cerebral palsy. Now, like I said, this version won't be too long because except from the typical my legs have hurt and standing up for hours, I haven't been as affected as I thought I would be with my cerebral palsy. Now, I will say I've got a splint. I will put images up here. I've got a splint that I put in my foot, and the first 2 weeks the first week I was not wearing it just because I'm so used to just popping on some new different shoes every day. And about the second week of working there, I started to wear my insole, or my splint, whatever you want to call it. But I started to realise the difference. Now, I know my family and friends will probably be like, we've always told you that. But I've never had my muscle pain technically be affected every single day, because my lifestyle of my fitness and of my cerebral palsy has changed. I'm standing up most of the day, then sitting down, except for my days off. But most of the week, I am standing up more than I am sitting down. So that is definitely going to be an effect on my body, especially with someone with cerebral palsy compared to an able body. If it affects an able body person, it's 10 times going to affect my body. Now, it is one of those situations that it's like, I'll just need to deal with it. But with wearing my splint in my shoe, I have seen a big difference. Now, the first couple of days it was quite uncomfortable and I needed to massage my feet some nights because my feet would still hurt. But throughout the weeks, I have noticed I still get muscle pain and my legs still hurt, but not as much as before. So wearing the splint has actually helped my feet. Surprisingly, would you believe it? Now, a physical therapist if she ever saw this and watched this, I'd be like, we've been telling you this. But it's like, I've only just needed to wear it more often than before. No, just now than before. Yeah. So that's probably why I've seen the difference, because I'm standing up more and I'm doing more. And like I said, I'm standing up most of the day than sitting down. But besides that, I feel like all the cerebral palsy ones are positive, because I've also got a hand strap again. I kind of did the same thing with the leg splint, or my splint that goes into my foot, not into my foot, into my shoe. I didn't wear my hand strap for a while, and then I started to realise, because I'm doing more with my hand's starting to do the thing that it used to do. I used to hold my hand like this when I'm concentrating, and one day I did notice that, and then I said to one of the staff members, explain the situation, and I was like, I'm gonna wear my hand strap on Sunday. She actually asked me the past work day that I've worked, did you wear it on on that day, and I was like, yep, and it worked. And I've only worn it twice, but I think because I'm doing more exercise technically with my hand while I wear the splint, I'm using my hand more with the splint, the hand strap on. And with that, I've made a TikTok again about it. I was so proud. But I've also made a video, and I'm gonna insert the video now. I am in my jammies, but it's a proud moment of mine. I was like, when I showed my parents, because to be honest, I think I go into detail about it more, but I thought this bit of my thumb was like, felt weird. And I was like to my mum and dad, can you feel this? This feels weird. And then let's just get into the video. I will explain everything that happened then. So mind the way I look. This clip is going to be added into the video you're seeing right now, but the video that I've not filmed or edited yet. So obviously this video is about my retail experience as a disabled person working in retail, specifically food retail. And I kind of went through a milestone today, kind of. I will be honest, my parents have always told me to wear my hand strap, doctors or physiotherapy, everything. And it's not that I didn't do it on, I wasn't I'm not going to wear it because I'm feeling very, I want to get in trouble or get told what's the point, or there was stuff like that. It's because even though I'm a person who spreads awareness to hidden and physical disability, and I speak up about this on my YouTube and my TikTok specifically, this hand trap, the reason why it's skin colour, first of all, if you did not know what a hand trap is, this is what it looks like. And no, it's not always, you don't always get these when you've broken your wrist or anything. You get these mainly when you have cerebral palsy as well. But I've always got told to wear it, you're meant to build it up. You're meant to wear it an hour a day, and then the next skin day 2 hours, then blah 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 blah. Build it up, or as long, and then you should be able to wear it for most of the day, pretty much all day up until you go to sleep. So I've never got up to that point, to be honest, because I don't wear it that regular up until now, since working retail, because one, I'm using my hands more. It's in food retail, it's a lot more hard work than just lifting it up, and than just putting away clothes and that. It's a lot more heavy lifting. And the thing what this does is strengthens your hand. Now, I knew it helped, but when I put it on, I never saw any difference. I actually thought it was better without it. But let's get to my point. So I've been wearing this for only 2 days, but I think it's because I've been doing way more stuff with it. Normally when I wear it, I don't do anything. So from this milestone, I'm going to be definitely wearing it way more. And some of you might think it's weird. I've got left-sided hemiplegia. That's the type of cerebral palsy I have. So it's all my left side, but specifically my left hand. And you need to watch closely. I've never been able to do this. I've never stopped doing it since I've done it. I've been able, I even feel like my thumb isn't bending back as much. But this is what it looks like when I put it on the table. It's much straighter as well, I would say. Normally it's a bit higher up. Yeah. So it's a much straighter, I feel like, but that is not the point. The thing what I wanted to show you is, okay, I can only do it like this, but you need to watch. Oh. Now I know it's a little movement, but my brain is really focusing on that, and that's why I want to show. I want to show the negatives and the positives. I know Well, yeah, I know I talk about my learning disability as how much I've been struggling with the food retail in this job. I'm getting better at it, but like this is a positive. Like, look. Because I was just feeling my thumb and I was like, this feels weird. But I think it's because I'm building muscle that I've never had before. And it just shows you simple things like that. You're making muscle out of that. That's how much muscle I don't have. Like, I'm using my whole brain to, like, I need to look at it to, like, me. That's so cool to me. But yeah, just want to pop this video in at some point for the video. But yeah, back to the video. So I can move my thumb a bit. No, I mean the tiniest bit. I'm going to try and do it again. Oh. Now, it was probably only that specific night I could do it. Because obviously, well, it's not obvious, but I'm even doing this, I'm using quite a lot of brain muscles, or like when you move your hand like this, you don't realize how much brain, I don't know what you would call it, how much of your brain you're using to just do the simple thing. And I don't have that signal to my brain to do this. So me doing this, I'm using quite a lot of brain. And as you can see, I need to look at it to make sure, even in the camera, I need to look at it, because even not looking at it, I'm thinking of how to move it. So that is a big milestone. And I want to end this video on that. Even though I've had my struggles this past month with my learning disability and my muscle pain, and pretty much having muscle pain most nights because of how much I have been standing. I want to look back on this month, and I've learned to, one, don't put too much pressure on myself, because I'm not like everyone else. I am that type of person that I try and not make my disability affect me. Now, it is easy in some ways, like that is where I get my determination and hard work from, because I don't let my disability affect me. Like, my disability isn't me, I'm me. My disability is just part of me. So I try and not make my disability about me. That makes sense. And another thing is just learning different skills that I can and can't do, and how I learn ways. I'm better at getting taught it in front of me than being like, can you do this, this? No, I can't learn that way. I need to get taught it. And that is just the way I learn. So I hope one thing you take away from this video, if you are disabled yourself, is be patient with yourself. And every year, every month, learn a bit about yourself. Even in life, life is going to give you different challenges, different things to overcome. And there's always going to be a lesson with that. If you told past Robin at the beginning of this month, you're going to be able to do this at the end of the month. You're going to be able to do the lotto scratch cards, or the lotto computer thing. You're going to be able to do all that at the end of the month. Just wait and see. I'll be like, yeah, right, I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to be still struggling as much as I am now. Yeah, you still need to ask people some questions. But I know I'm doing myself proud. And just remind yourself that you are doing yourself proud as well. Whether there's a smaller small milestone, or whether that's a big milestone. A small milestone might be a big milestone to you. Like my thumb. Me doing that is a big milestone for me, because I've never been able to, like, I'm frequently literally just moving my thumb now. Like, it's incredible. So just remind yourself to be love yourself and take time for yourself, and don't put too much pressure on yourself. And this is my experience working in retail as a disabled person. Hope you enjoyed it. And also, I know I haven't mentioned my heart or my epilepsy. That is because they haven't been affected in this job setting, this work setting, this food retail. But my learning disability has been more affected in the work retail than other retails. So that is why I'm mainly talking about my learning disability, and partly of my cerebral palsy as well. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you've learned something from it, whether you're an able-bodied person or not. And I also want to add, this is one of the main points I wanted to say near the end of the video, is one thing I want you to take away as an able-bodied person, if you are an able-bodied person, is be patient with everyone. You don't know if they have a disability. You never know if they have a learning disability. They need to check that money twice, 3 times, probably 5 times is probably too much, but they need to check the money that you've gave them 3 times, or putting on the card machine's taking longer than a normal person would do it. Be patient, because in a month's time you come back to that shop and see how fast they can do that. You'll be like, are you getting along well? That's amazing that you can do that now. The amount of things you'll be surprised you can do in a month's time. So to able-bodied people, please be patient with people, whether you know they're disabled or not. You never know what someone's going through. Thank you for watching, and I will see you with a brand new video next time. Bye!